What is up? And welcome to another episode of Big Kid with Will Bryant. I'm your host. I'm Will Bryant. And I realize I'm here about a day late. Apologies. Bear with me, guys. I'll tell you exactly why I was a day late in this week's episode. But before I get there, how about I do a little plug for all my social media stuffs. Follow me at I'm Will Bryant. That's 3 words. I'm Will Bryant. Bryant. It's the same thing on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Spotify, on all the good stuff. Follow me there. Like where you can, subscribe where you can. All the good stuff. I really appreciate it if you can. Right off the bat, I forgot to even load up some little notes. We're already ruined this episode. About a minute in, minute and 50 seconds. New record. Ruined. Now my notes aren't loading. Oh, here we go. They're loading. Crisis averted for now. All right. I am here. I am glad to be here. Last week's episode, probably not my favorite to record per se, but I'm glad I got it out there. Last week, the title of the episode was bartending with depression and anxiety, and it's something that I deal with on a daily, weekly, monthly basis for sure. I often compare myself to that analogy if you've ever heard the duck in a pond analogy. The idea being that when you look at a duck, when you see a duck out there swimming on the pond, he's kind of just floating around on the water, looking pretty calm and serene as he moves around. But if you're looking at that duck from underwater, what's happening is his two little feet, little winged feet, are flapping crazy. Back and forth, just to keep that duck floating above the water there. And oftentimes I felt, or perhaps feel, like that's what I do when I work in my profession, in my field as a bartender. I'm that duck floating on the water, and I might look all right, but underneath, I'm doing everything possible to keep from having like a panic attack, from falling apart. And I'm pretty good at winning that little battle between me and my inner self wanting to just kind of crumble. So last week's episode was me kind of getting all that out. I had been going through a lot. I had definitely been going through a lot for I guess the last couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months. Because the truth is, if it wasn't evident from, the stories that I shared week in and week out on this podcast, whenever I would share about where I work, my place of employment, I don't think I ever really sounded too happy about it. I might have told some funny stories, but I mentioned last week, it's the first time I've worked somewhere that I did not enjoy my time being there, and I've had moments that were like close to convincing me that it's time to get out. And I told you guys last week, real G's move in silence like lasagna. And I pretended like it was all good at work while I was applying to some places. I didn't really apply to a lot of places, and kind of the one like week or a couple of days that I went hard at it, and I sent out about, I don't know, I think in total probably about 7 in one day. I got responses from 2 interviews from with 2 places in one day. And last week I recorded this podcast on a Tuesday, and I had announced that was actually on my way right after recording the episode. I was on my way to train at a new bar for the first time ever. If you remember, I also said that I wasn't feeling very excited about training at this new bar. The bar is it's I'll actually use names for these. It's called Old City Bar, or Old City Beers and Cheesesteaks, something like that. It's part of a chain. There's like at least 2, and about to be 3. So, it's a successful small chain where it's kind of Philly based. A lot of Philadelphia cheesesteaks, big on Philly sports, but they show sports in general. There was, I don't know, like 15, 20 TVs in the bar that I worked, or that I trained in. And the staff that I met was nice, very nice. The manager was very nice and very professional. Everything about it was kind of fine. Kind of fun. And I think there was a point last week where I actually specifically said that, I don't want to just be fine or say that I'm fine anymore, So I knew that this was this was an opportunity to work somewhere else that I might be less sad working in or working at. But realize the way I worded that. I realized this place that I was training is an opportunity to be less sad. Not necessarily an opportunity to be more happy. Or happy at all. I didn't see myself achieving a certain level of at least professional happiness at that place. Tuesday was the day after Memorial Day, which tends to be one of the most dead, least busy days in the industry. Because you got to think about it. Everyone just went. They probably didn't have work or school that Friday, maybe. They had a 4-day weekend, so a lot of people went away for an entire weekend and didn't get back until Monday, maybe even late Monday, because nobody works that Monday. If you didn't go away, chances are that you went out that weekend because it's freaking Memorial Day weekend, and you might have gone hard on Sunday and, maybe even drank a little bit for brunch on Monday. Tuesday is your day back at work or school or whatever. No one's really going out after that. It was super dead at Old City. Not their fault, because I asked my coworker who was working that day at the bar that I guess was moving in silence behind. And she said it was dead there too. So dead across the city. But not a great start, I guess, for me trying to improve my career or whatever. Came back to train again the next day on Wednesday. I'm kind of... Basically, this episode is going to be my week in review. It's pretty straightforward. Because I think a lot happened to me in the past 7 days. A lot happened to me, literally, physically, and emotionally, and mentally. So I think just the last 7 days in the life of Will Bryant is what this episode's going to be about. Right now, we started on Tuesday. We're on Wednesday. And Wednesday was just pretty similar to Tuesday. Just another shift where I trained at Old City Beers and Cheesesteaks with with nice staff and a well-run situation and a well-run place. Busier than the day before, but that's not saying much, and still not very busy. I was there till close, and that was it, Good sandwiches, good food. I recommend anyone that wants a to catch a game and have some good food somewhere, any of the old city locations for sure. They're I realized quickly, like, they're definitely run by someone that's very, like, on top of shit and professional. So it felt like to me, like it was just a version of where I was currently, but just ran much more professionally and efficiently. So I think I said in the last episode that I felt like it was a lateral move as opposed to a move that moved me upward. Not even like, I don't even mean in money, because I might have made better money there, but at least mentally and in some way fucking spiritually, because I was hurting, you know? I was like, I was in such a rut. Maybe I still am, who knows, but I'm definitely crawling out of it. But someone texted me after listening to last week's episode and said, just finished listening to it and you sounded really sad. And I'm realizing right now I never replied. I'll reply. Whoops, my bad. But last week's episode was, I always listen to my episodes back to see if there's like some, I don't know, good portion of my episode to like try to clip out for a video content for Instagram and YouTube. And I have to get a lot better at that too, you know. But either way, I often listen to my episodes back, and last week I didn't really want to hear myself. I knew how I felt while recording it. I know how I felt for like the past 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month, maybe even longer. And I didn't want to hear that. A lot of times this podcast is an escape, is a therapy session, is an outlet, and often, I mean, obviously a stage for me, you know, a stage that I built for myself. So I try to kind of snap out of what I'm feeling to get into not so much character, but get into the right state of mind to put forth something at least entertaining for an hour and a half. Last week was the first time that I could not. And I came out just outright with that right from the beginning. And I told you guys, I warned you guys, I didn't have it last week, you know? This week, I don't know if I have it, but I might have it just a little bit more than last week. I just really want to let you guys know what's going on in my life. And we'll do it one day at a time. This is like Craig David's 7 days. Monday, on Tuesday, I'm in love on Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday and Saturday and then Sunday. Yeah. Except we're starting on Tuesday, so Tuesday, train at Old City on Wednesday. Didn't really like it then Thursday. Something else happened that Friday and Saturday again on Sunday. We're on Wednesday now, guys. More training. I told you guys it was whatever, very professional. Said, by all means, go for it, guys. Go for it. Something that I did that Wednesday, before my shift at Old City. See, I trained there on Tuesday, and Wednesday I woke up. And I, you know, completely unfulfilled from the shift I had just worked at a new place, or just trained at a new place. And I felt like, you know what, like, don't settle. Don't, you obviously have this job. It's yours. But, Will, you don't like it. And yes, I said Will. I am talking to myself at this point. Will, you don't like it. You know you're not going to like it. So don't settle. It's an option. Cool. And if you really hate where you're working now, give yourself an option. Give yourself an out. But don't settle. So after one training shift on Tuesday, I woke up Wednesday and I just went on Craigslist. And you have to remember, I had looked through all the listings up until like a day or two before. I applied to the handful that I wanted to. Heard back from 2, landed 1. That Wednesday morning, I saw that 1 hour earlier, there was a job listing from a place that I had heard of. More accurately, from a venue that I am extremely familiar with. Not because I've ever been there, but because I have just heard of it. I know about it. And I even posted on Instagram. And this is so unlike me. But as soon as I saw that listing, I applied. I didn't apply to any other job that Wednesday, just that one. And I didn't think much of it. I was like, this is a long shot. So I applied to this place on Wednesday, went to train at Old City. And while I was training at this bar that I just could not get even the least amount excited about, I got an email, I believe. It was an email from the job that I applied to, from the place that I applied to just hours before. And they asked, hey, Will, can you come in? Not even can you, just we're holding interviews tomorrow at, I believe it was 3 p.m. That means that they're inviting like multiple people. It's not, we were interviewing you. But immediately I got excited. Reason being, the place that I had just landed an interview at is easily one of the most famous and prestigious comedy clubs in the entire world. I just landed an interview at the Comedy Cellar, downtown New York, right off of West 4th, where people like Jerry Seinfeld and Ray Romano came to prominence, where, every SNL comedian hones their craft, including like former greats like Colin Quinn or current people like Michael Shea. I mean, one of my favorite stand-up comedies of recent memory is Bumping Mics with Jeff Ross and Dave Attell, and it was filmed at the Comedy Cellar, as was Ray Romano's most recent special. And it is not lost on me that just a couple of episodes ago, on that episode titled, what was it? Something about big dreams. I forgot. Bar Creeps and Big Dreams. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's one of my episodes. It's one of those. It was something about big dreams, and it was because at the end of the episode, I actually came clean about my desire to give stand-up comedy at least a shot. And I said that by the end of this year, my goal is to have at least been on stage one time at some open mic somewhere, and do stand-up comedy. It is not lost on me that I'm pretty sure within the month that I said that out loud for the first time ever in my life, suddenly, when I try to change my life, I land an interview at one of the most famous and prestigious comedy clubs in the world. I don't believe in a lot. Whether it's believing in a God or unfortunately even believing in myself, I often don't believe in a lot. And even the idea of fate is something I push back against. But damn, if that's not the universe trying to kick my ass in the right direction, or at least some specific direction, I don't know what is. Fate, destiny, kismet, happy accident. I don't know. But about a month ago, I say, for the first time out loud, I want to try stand-up comedy. And then within that month, within those 4 weeks, I'm pretty sure, bam, interview at the Comedy Cellar. What? So I finish, we're still on Wednesday, guys, remember. So I finish my shift. Oops, just saw a little note. Let me put my phone on airplane mode. Fuck you. I don't want no interruptions here. So we're on Wednesday now. Just still Wednesday. Because I applied before my shift at Old City, trained, and while I'm working at Old City, while I'm being trained, I get an email saying, you got an interview tomorrow, 3 o'clock. I closed Old City with the person that's training me. Couldn't have been nicer. And fucked right on off home. Focused on that interview. I could not care less about where I just trained for 2 days. Could not care that everyone was super nice and super professional and that it was a well-run place. Could not care any less about any of that shit. All I was thinking about is the Comedy Cellar wants to talk to you tomorrow. Now, remember what I said. It's not you come in for our interview at 3 p.m. No, it was just we are holding interviews at 3 p.m. So I was like, all right, cool. I had work at that Thursday at the job that was beating me down. I had work at 6, so I had plenty of time. 3 o'clock interview downtown. I'll just stay in the city. Wednesday night, I did something uncharacteristic of me when it comes to pretty much anything, like job opportunities mostly, but like I don't like saying things out loud that like haven't happened yet. For me it's more I stay quiet until something has happened, until something is official, and then I'll tell people. But for any of my Seinfeld fans out there, you will know exactly what I'm talking about, and this explanation will not be necessary. But for anyone that doesn't know about Seinfeld, there's an episode of Seinfeld where George Costanza realizes that every decision he has ever made in his entire life has gotten him to where he is at that current state. And at that current state, he was unemployed and back home living with his parents. And he said, I am done living the same way that I always do. From here on out, whatever my instinct tells me to do, I will do the opposite. And he starts off with something as simple as ordering the opposite of what he would normally get at the diner. I think he did like tuna on rye or some shit like that. I don't even know. Tuna on blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. But he decided do shit the opposite to start changing your life. So normally, if I land this interview at the Comedy Cellar, I don't tell anyone. Except maybe my girl. Probably my girl. But like, I'm not calling my mom. I'm not telling my friends, nobody. Because if I fail, when I fail, I have to tell less people about it. So I did the opposite of not telling anybody. I didn't name the name, I didn't name the venue, but I put out on Instagram on my story that I just landed an interview at the most famous venue that I like have ever even had an opportunity to work at. And I specifically asked people, just the world out there, for to send me positive vibes because I need it. I never really put myself out there like that on social media, so I did the opposite. I had never been more nervous. I had never experienced more anxiety for a job interview than I was feeling immediately for this one. So this next part is kind of important for me because from Wednesday night into Thursday morning and afternoon, I received so much love from people out there. I was shocked. I was humbled, and it meant so much. Dude, I knew like if I put that information out there, I would get like anywhere from like 3 to 8 responses, you know, from like my good friends. This is not me trying to sound popular. This is not some type of flex. This is something that just meant so much to me. When I tell you that I easily got over 30 DMs, I'm pretty sure maybe, well, because you know when you reply to a story, or someone replies to your story, it comes in as a DM. So let's say I got 30 to 40 people replying to that story, maybe 50 over the 24 hours that the Instagram can stay up. Or the story can stay up. Just telling me that I got this. Reminding me that I am good at my craft. People just believing in me. Dude, I was moved by the very first message I got because it came from such a random person. Like immediately after I put out that Instagram story, the wife of my boy that I met at Keith's wedding because we were groomsmen together, she was the first person that hit me up and wished me the most beautiful, like sincere, just positivity. And she told me to envision it because it's already mine. I just don't know it yet. And it's so random that it came from her, but I was like, wow, that was really nice. And it just opened up the floodgates to the same positivity coming my way from people I did not even realize ever even gave enough of a fuck to scroll through my story. It was so humbling. It was so enriching for a soul that I felt like was kind of losing its fight for a while there. I got so much love, dude. And just like old coworkers that were like, you got this. Like, we've been through shit. You definitely got this. Just people, I don't know. I did not expect that. I swear to God, I thought I would be happy if I had 10 notifications of people wishing me luck. To find out that like you have way more people in your corner than you thought. In the hours going into your most important interview of your life, that meant so much. So to every single person that saw that story and took even just 5 seconds to type something out to me, I made sure to reply to each and every single one of you guys because each and every one of those meant so much. It really did. And I had so much anxiety going into that interview. Like, it's not like you guys cured me of it, but you helped me use it. You know, I don't even want to say deal with it or suppress it, because I didn't. I couldn't. You helped me use it. And then came the interview. And I was waiting for like 10 minutes. There's a couple of people in there that were in there for the interview too. On a superficial level, I definitely looked more the part. Like, you can't show up to an interview in like a dirty shirt and, you know, baggy jeans that it looks like you I don't know, cleaned your garden in or something like that. Like, I understand if you're going through hard times and shit. Hell, I've been there. But, like, there's certain jobs you get with that kind of look, and there's certain jobs you don't. And the one thing that made me feel a little good was, like, I came in presentable, because your boy always does. I mean, you know, I'm just saying. Anyways, speaking of what I wore, today I'm wearing my Nike Gay Pride shirt, because it is the first episode that we are doing in Gay Pride Month, and obviously I'm all about that shit. But yeah, I digress. I felt a little good about that. And then that was pretty much the last thing I felt good about, because we had an interview. I had this interview, and the woman. I'm gonna try my best to not use names, because it is the Comedy Cellar, so fucking people can. I don't want to dox people I work with, but the manager seemed right off the bat like she had been doing this for a long time. No time to mess around, no nonsense, no wasting time, no nothing. It was, I don't even remember if she looked up from like my resume during the interview. It was like, you know, she had glasses that were like, I think she had glasses that were like fucking right on the rim of her nose, and she just looked at the resume, unimpressed by everything. Was like, all right, you know, we have a lot of the volume here is insane. Have you ever worked somewhere busy? And I'm fucking there like, well, actually, yeah. And I'm trying to give her my happy face or whatever, and I feel like you're not even looking at me. She might have been staring directly at me, but in my head, she might as well been interviewing me with her back turned. That's how it felt. She's like, where have you worked? Was it busy? Whatever, go. And I'm looking at the back of her head. Might as well be. Now I'm like trying to get her to turn around. I'm like, yeah, I mean, this place called the Diddy, that shit was fucking crazy. I didn't say that, but I wanted to tell her. I wanted to tell her, dude, the people at the Diddy were maniacs. I was shooting down zombies behind a fence at The Walking Dead every Friday and Saturday night till 4 a.m. You want volume? You want crazy? Let's go to Ditmars. I'll show you crazy. But man, that interview, I felt like it lasted 90 seconds. All right, thank you. We'll let you know. Goodbye. That was it. Sat down. She turned her back to me. Have you ever worked high volume before? Fuck. Yeah. Yes, all right, thank you, goodbye. Fucking revolving door of an interview kicked me right out. And I walked out of the world famous Comedy Cellar and stood outside and looked to my left and looked to my right and peeked over back at my shoulder at the job that I thought could be mine, but in that moment, I said, well, I blew it. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure what I said, but I really, really fucked that up. So I walk out of the Comedy Cellar thinking I just fucked up the biggest interview of my life. And I remember they asked for 3 references specifically, and I didn't really think much of it, but I put my three coworkers I had from the Diddy. I figured give them something recent, and let's not give them anyone from the job that I was trying to currently leave. So the ditty was. I didn't put the owners of the bar or the manager because I didn't want to have to ask someone that fired me to be a reference for me. But I did ask 3 of my coworkers, and that was funny because the last thing that the person that was interviewing me asked was like, "All right, can I call your references?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And she's like, "Thank you, goodbye," and kicks me out. So immediately, I hit up my 3 references. And I'm like, "Yo, just put you down as a reference just in case, I don't know, kind of official spot, they might hit you up." And all 3 of them replied within like 5-10 minutes. And first of all, as a terrible texter myself, and I know about 12 people out there that just rolled their eyes agreeing with me, fuck you. As a terrible texter myself, the fact that they all replied within 5 minutes, love them for it. Love you for it. James, Jared, Katie, love you guys for that. Real ones. I especially love when Jared asked me, so just let me know, am I like your manager? Am I like the boss? Or like, I'm like, I told the truth, you're just my coworker. He's like, cool. I love that Jared, was just ready to just jump in character. He is an actor too, so that makes sense. He was like, "Yo, what's my motivation here? What's my role? What do you need from me?" And he was ready. I could have told him, "Bro, you are the GM / cook / fucking owner of the bar." He would have been like, "Dale, got it. I'm ready." He would do it with a smile. And that was so funny to me. And I because he got me thinking about that like actor role kind of mentality in that moment, he asked me, "So how do you think it went?" Actually, most people, that's when everyone started asking me. And I told him, because I used the actor analogy. I was like, "Dude, I feel like I just blew an audition." And he was really positive about it. And I told him, I just hear so many stories of people that got like the biggest movie role of their life after they felt like they blew the audition. And I hear so many stories of actors that feel like they nailed an audition and then never hear back from anyone ever again. So I told him, I hope it's one of those situations. That's kind of like the line I used for a couple of people. So if there's anyone out there that I also said the same thing to, sorry, I'm recycling material here. Like I said, there was like 30 or 50, I don't know, somewhere in between that of you guys that reached out. Love you for it. But yeah, I was regurgitating some of the same sentences to a lot of people. I felt like I blew it. And I thought to myself, well, at least I have Old City. At least I have Old City beers and cheesesteaks to fall back on. If I really do want to get out of my current situation. And so I go to work Thursday. Not going to lie. Went to a nearby bar and imbibed a little bit. Kind of drowned my sorrows. I didn't get fucked up or anything like that, but definitely chilled at a bar, had a couple of beers. My girl met up with me, actually. She was just finishing up work. And we talked about how I felt like I blew it. I wasn't too down in the dumps about it. I was just kind of like, well, at least I tried, like I got in the ring and I guess I got knocked out, but at least I was in the fight, And we were drinking somewhere walking distance to where I had to start working in just a couple of minutes or hours or whatever. So we walked over when the time came, and she was like, I told her, I was like, "Hey, you want to have a drink? Like, why not?" She's like, "Maybe just one." Of course, one turned to two turned to four. She had a good time Thursday. Let's just say that. Thursday, I'm working. I'm there to close the bar. Thursday's kind of a busy day there because See, what used to happen is, I guess, on Friday nights, people that work from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, their Friday afternoons after work, that was their let's go out to the bar. Let's do happy hour. No work for the weekend type of stuff. So bars would be busy around that time on happy hour for Fridays. Now, since the post-pandemic, some of you guys out there with the classic Monday through Friday 9 to 5s might be able to attest to this. A lot of places realized, because of the pandemic, because of quarantine, that you don't really have to be in the office every day. So there are a lot of people out there that get to work remotely from home on Fridays. They Zoom in. And you know what that means for the drinking community? That means I'm going to get fucked up on Thursday and then just roll over while hungover out of bed and turn on Zoom on Friday for like 2 meetings, and then that's it. I can fuck off and vomit my Thursday away. So Thursdays can be a little busy, a little fun. Sometimes annoying, but whatever. That was Thursday. And I was just kind of doing my thing until I got this text. Again, mid-shift. Wednesday, I was working at Old City. Got an email to come in for an interview on Thursday to the Comedy Cellar. Go in for the interview, absolutely blow it, and then go to work on Thursday. And a couple of hours in, I get this text. Hey, Will. This is so-and-so from the Comedy Cellar. When are you free so that we can bring you in for a trial shift? I felt like, you ever seen, I'm sure I'm about to alienate half of my audience here. But for you losers like me out there, you ever seen the NFL draft? And there's those college players that are at home watching the draft on TV, and then suddenly, as the video is recording them, they get a call on their phone, and it'll be something like, "Hey, is this Jamichael Washington? Jerry Jones here, big guy over in Dallas. How's about we book you a flight and you come over here to play for us, son?" And that college player is getting a phone call that's changing his life, and he's doing his best to kind of hold it together, but fuck it, he can't. And sometimes they cry, and sometimes they just yell out, "Let's go!" Or, "Woo!" While their family members around them start going crazy. I was working a shift Thursday, and I got a text saying, "Will, we want to bring you in for a trial shift." And I started like tearing up, because I thought I blew it. And even though I had to be at work for the next 2 nights to close the bar the next 2 nights, my response to them was, "I am there whenever you want me." And their response was, "Great, come in tomorrow, 4 p.m. See, I thought about telling them, when they asked me, when can I come in, I actually I had written out that I have work for the next 2 days that could probably do Sunday. And then I remembered, oops, no, I have plans Sunday. So I deleted that. And then I had work Monday. So I was about to type to them the hours that they could work around my schedule. And I thought to myself, what would George Costanza do if he were doing the opposite of everything he ever did in his life? And I deleted every word in what I was about to send while I'm working behind at the bar of the place that is killing me. And I deleted everything, and I said, I'm there whenever you need me, or whenever you want me. I forget what I said, but I basically said, whenever you will have me, I'll be there. They said tomorrow. And I said, done. Then I took care of everything else. Then I got my coworker to cover my shift on Friday. I didn't worry about anything past Friday. I just worried about Friday, and that was it. There is no tomorrow. And I worked the rest of my shift that Thursday. Just knowing that for the second time in 2 days, I was about to do one of the most important things I'd ever done in my bartending life. Because on Thursday, the most important thing that I did was the interview. And now Friday, I've got a shift at the Comedy Cellar. I got to the Comedy Cellar. They didn't tell me how long I was going to be there. I thought maybe a 4-hour trial session, and they tell me, cool, we'll let you know. Dude, nobody told me shit. I ended up being at the Comedy Cellar for 12 hours on Friday. 4 shows. See, the way the Comedy Cellar runs is there's about 3 shows every weekday, 4 shows on Fridays and Saturdays. And by show, I mean there's about 4 to 5 to 6 comics that come out and do 15-minute sets. And people come in that have paid for their tickets, their reservations. They come in, they drink, they eat, and enjoy this about 2.5 hour show of multiple comics that if you like comedy, you've heard of a lot of these people. And I was there on a Friday, and it was like dinner theater, because it was like 1 show done, 2 shows done, 3 shows done, 4 shows done, and there's chaos in between and during, and I was feeling super overwhelmed just watching them do it. You ever seen that movie Waiting, where the main character actually doesn't say a goddamn word throughout the entire movie, because every time that he tries to speak, he gets cut off and someone talks over him, and he just watches as he's being trained on his first day at work at this chaotic place and tries to just stay out of everyone's way? Dude, I was that dude at the Comedy Cellar on Friday for 12 hours. I barely said a word. I literally had people going, hey, new guy, give me this, blah, blah, blah. And when I would say yes, I would get cut off by blah, 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 blah. Like I just tried to shut the fuck up and not get in anyone's way. I was, I got trained by someone that was really nice, really positive, and she was working with someone else. It's usually 2 bartenders down in like this dungeon looking of a service bar that's separated. It's right next to the Comedy Cellar, like main room, but it's just its own room to the side, so no one ever sees me. No one in the show will ever see me unless I pop out. They'll see the servers walking around, but not me. So that means that I'm training to be a bartender that never has to talk or see to a single customer. At least while I work in the cellar. Here's the thing. If you don't know, the Comedy Cellar Has an upstairs and a downstairs, but the upstairs is actually called the Olive Tree Cafe. And it's a regular cafe that you can go into 7 days a week. The Comedy Cellar is downstairs. In fact, if you go to the Olive Tree and have to use the bathroom, you have to go downstairs and walk through an empty Comedy Cellar to get to the bathroom. So I will be, the people that work there, put it that way, I will be training up there. I have to train up there. The people that work there, they work a shift or two upstairs, and then they go down in the cellar like 2 or 3 to 4 times a week. I don't know. So unless you're in the cafe upstairs and you're bartending, you don't see anybody. And for as much as I complain about you guys out there, this seems like a dream come true. I can bartend and never have to talk to a single fucking customer. Wow. Things just keep getting better at this job. But here's the thing. It's service bar. We're making the drinks for everybody out there, and most of the drinks come in like waves because everyone comes and sits down, then everyone finishes, and then they order again, and then they try to do last call. So there's waves. And I'm telling you, I've never seen tickets print out of at a bar like this. For you guys that don't know, a service bartender at any bar is the bartender that's making the drinks for everyone that's seated and being served on by their servers. So if you go to a restaurant and you don't sit at the bar and you're sitting at a table and you order a drink through your server, that server puts in your order, and the drink will have to still be made at the bar. The service bartender sees a ticket printout, a ticket printout that with your drink order on it. He will then put it down. He or she will put it down, work on your order, and put it there for the server to pick up. Oftentimes, the service bartender is also tending to the regular bar, so that person will be taking orders while reading service tickets and doing those as well. Some places have a service bartender at the bar only working the service bar, and somebody else or 2 other people or however many other people will work the bar and take all the orders while one person just knocks out tickets. However, I've never been at a location where the service bartender is completely just off the floor and working on only tickets. And that's the situation here. On every day besides Monday and Tuesday, it's so busy in there, or it's so active in there, that they have 2 bartenders working in this like little dungeon cranking out drinks. And I'm telling you, they were pulling out service tickets and holding them up like it was a clothesline. I'm telling you, if I was at another bar and I saw like 4 or 5 tickets print out, I'm like, oh shit, we just got hit. This place, I was pulling out ticket. They had to teach me the best way to pull out tickets because it was so crazy. And I'm telling you, I was pulling out 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 tickets at a time, each with anywhere from 1 to 2 to mostly 3 to 5 drinks each, and I'm putting them up so that we can work on them. One person does like beers and wines, the other person does the cocktails, and it was. And once you put up the 13 tickets, there's 12 more that are printed out just waiting for you to pluck them. I had to be trained on how to pluck tickets. Before I ever even freaking made a drink properly, I was fucking up the tickets. I had never pulled that many tickets from a printer before. And the 2 people that were there to work were just doing it like machines, just chilling. And I was like, how? One of them was 23, never bartended before anywhere else besides here. And I was like, bam, I don't even know if I could do this. The other one, the first thing that one of my coworkers said to me, she saw me, no hi, no hello, no welcome. No, she looks at my man bun and goes, "Where'd you leave your yoga mat?" I looked around and I was like, the fuck? And she's like, because of the man bun. I don't know, I'm just making a joke. I have no filter. And I was like, holy shit. I just got a job at somewhere where I'm going to be roasted every day. Everyone's a comic. Everyone's a comedian. And then I said, well, I guess I'm kind of a hipster. I do live in Bushwick. And like her demeanor changed later. She was like, "Oh, no way, I'm in Ridgewood." And I was like, "Oh, actually, Ridgewood is like a block away from me." She's like, "Shut up." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I walk a block and I'm at Queen's Brewery." She's like, "No way. What stopped?" And I'm like, "I get off at Halsey." She's like, "Fucking A, Halsey? I get off at Halsey. I get off at that deli." And I'm like, "Yeah, the deli that doesn't sell beer?" She's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah. Yeah, I like going to like bonus room and Father Knows Best." "No way, I was just there." Suddenly, we're like best friends. So we're all good. It was a good start because I was like, well, I just took like a punch to the face and I didn't fall. I watched them do these tickets, man. I was fucking flabbergasted by it. And I jumped in there to do it. I saw them work an entire show, not shift, show. They did the first show. Then they handled the rush of the second show, and I jumped in once things were like a little bit slower, but still. Did the beer for the second show, did the cocktails, after the rush for the third show, and then the fourth show I was in there for like the rush, and it was a lot. The cool thing is like there was never anyone that was like, the fuck is going on? This I'm still fucking waiting for this. There were people asking like, "Oh, is there a whatever back there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's coming up," like they're like, okay, all good. Like it was hectic and stressful as fuck, but it was never, it wasn't toxic, at least not that shift. At least not yet. I don't know. I don't know if you interview somewhere else, if you interview someone that works there or used to work there, maybe they fucking have a bunch of horror stories about it. That shift, even though it was hectic and a lot and stressful, I felt like, okay, I got through it. And here's the thing. They never told me like, all right, you made it. You got it. Let's train you. No, it was just, when can you come in again? And I told them, well, Saturday I have work. And Sunday I can't do, so I could do Monday. I told them that day I could do Monday. I was like, let me get 2 days in between. And they're like, all right, come Monday. And that's all I knew. Is just come the next shift. Come the next. Like they weren't telling me, all right, this is your job now, whatever, nothing. All right. So I worked this 12-hour shift at the Comedy Cellar. Got my ass, handed to me. I was working. But it felt good, like it felt positive. Scary for sure, but I guess nothing worthy. If you're not scared, then is it really worth it? That first night there, in case you're wondering, I don't really get to see the comics. I can if I pop my head out, if I walk around the bar to pop my head out, but like we're usually so busy that I didn't even want to like do that. I'm sure I will be able to more, but like I can hear every comic, and whoever enunciates better, I can hear them clear. Some comics mumble. I can hear every comic. That first night, Colin Quinn was there. Jim Norton was there. Ari Shaffir was there. Dave Attell closed. At least the last show. He likes to close the last show. These are all names that I recognize, dude. Not only recognize, that I like love and respect, and I'm like, dude, these guys are feet away from me right now, just on the other side of that wall. And I'm hearing their sets and I'm hearing their reactions. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of comics that came in that I didn't really recognize. But a lot that I did on that first day. I came back Monday. And I had a 10-hour shift on Monday with 3 shows instead of 12 and 4 on Friday. And it felt like night and day. I was walking into Monday. Oh, here's the thing. Actually, I forgot about Sunday. Actually, I forgot about Saturday. What's wrong with you, Will? Let's go back. Because Saturday, I'm walking into work, my actual job, after just working a 12-hour shift at the Comedy Cellar. feeling proud of the work that I did for the first time this year in 2023. It says a lot when you can work somewhere that you feel proud about. I felt proud after what I did on Friday. I was at work and my manager's been a little weird with me ever since I had that text conversation with her about my bouncer. In case you didn't hear that episode or in case you forgot, I told you guys a story a couple of weeks ago about how shit got really weird at my bar because my boss decided to take away my bouncer from 2 to 4 a.m. His reasoning was because business was down between 2 and 4, so why waste money on a bouncer? Why waste money on the one person there to fucking offer you any sense of security and safety? Took it away, even though he wanted me there till 4 a.m. every Friday and Saturday night in Midtown. And if you don't know anything about Midtown, people get fucking weird there after midnight. And you're talking about 2 to 4? I'm alone? I heard another bartender had a similar issue on a weekday and talked to the manager about it. And the manager's response was, well, where was your bar back? And I was shocked at that response because, hey, you know what the bar back isn't? He's not security. Hey, you want to know what the bar back isn't? He's not the doorman. He's not the bouncer. Oh, shit. Sorry, forgot. I forgot. Let me remind you guys. Let me remind you that I was told by my manager that he is not our security guard, or I thought was our security guard, the guy that was probably an extra in Fast and Furious, or excuse me, in Hobbs and Shaw when they went to Samoa. He was one of The Rock's cousins. The guy that looks like he does a haka before playing in a rugby game in New Zealand. Dude, I'm sure before every shift at work, this dude does a haka outside. Just and then walks in and says, hey, Will, can I get the ID scanner? And I say, here you go, dude. You good? Shit. That guy, not my bouncer, not my security guard, not my doorman. It had to be clarified to me, because I'm such an idiot, that technically he is just an ID checker. We hired the captain of Samoa's rugby team just to call him an ID checker. And when shit goes down, my manager wants to know not where's the captain of the rugby team for Samoa. No. Where, leave the ID checker alone. Where's your bar back? Where's the guy that looks like he's a roadie for Los Tigres del Norte? Where's that guy? Because he should be your first line of defense against the worst scum of the universe. Little Men in Black line for you. He's supposed, dude, if someone comes in looking for trouble, I'm supposed to tell The Rock's cousin, don't worry about this. I know the guy that carries the instruments I know the guy that carries Los Tigres del Norte's accordions to stage, bro. Don't you worry. You keep slapping your chest outside and yelling in fucking words that no one understands to intimidate them. I'm going to get my bar back to put down Los Tigres del Norte's accordions and to come over here and help me out against the worst scum of the universe. Are you kidding me? And here's something that I had to like tell my coworkers, because they were like, I guess next time I'll just call, my bar back. And I said, wait a second. Think this through. Let me paint a little scenario for you right here. Because see, I worked at this place in Midtown where it's surrounded by vineyard vine guys and all the like. Now, let's say a bunch of white frat boys with a bunch of vineyard vine sweaters cause a problem some night. And they don't give a fuck about causing a problem because their daddies are lawyers or are on the golf course right now with their lawyer. So they're good. And let's say they're so privileged that they don't give a fuck about starting shit in the bar. And let's say it's after 2. So the rugby player's gone. I'm supposed to call my bar back. Now let's say this bar back actually does the decent human being thing and helps me when he's not supposed to, because it's not what his job is. And let's say he does nothing wrong, but these privileged boys call their lawyer dad, who decides to then look into it and cause all the problems in the world that he can for that bar. Or more specifically, for that bar back. Now, I don't know about you, and I don't know about what bar or what restaurant you like to go and spend your time in. But just think about the staff. Think about the barbacks. Think about the food runners. Think about the bussers. Think about the porters. Think about the cooks. How many of them that you're imagining in your mind do you think have the complete legal right to be in this country? Whether or not you think it's right, we're not talking about that. Let's just say, how many of these people do you think are citizens, have a green card, are legal? Now look, I'm the son of someone that at one point was staying here illegally, and yeah, she eventually made it a legal stay here in the United States, but that does not mean I do not have empathy for all of you out there that are still fighting to make your stay in America permanent and legal. It's tough, dude. It's fucking tough. You can be here for a decade and still not get your visa or your green card or whatever it is that you need to be recognized as a legal resident. This establishment hires nothing but people that perhaps do not have green cards. I mean, I know for sure a lot of them, though. But you want them to put themselves in harm's way when a gang of vineyard vine guys comes in to cause trouble, so that their daddy, the lawyer, can then make a case about who they employ, who you guys have working for you, and then who do you think is going to get in trouble there? Who's getting fired? It's the roadie for Los Tigres del Norte. He's gone. In fact, I already know that happened earlier. I was told a story where something happened in the common area of the bar, and a couple of cooks came down to help out with the ruckus. One of the cooks had the sharpener that you use to sharpen a dull blade. If you've ever worked in a kitchen, every kitchen has this. It's like this metal pole that you hold in your hand that you just go fing, 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 fing to sharpen the knife. The story that I heard was this guy brought down the fucking rod, the sharpening rod, to like whack somebody in the head in case he needed to. But the customers, the Karens in the restaurant, called the cops and said that there was a cook running around with a knife. Now, what do you think happened? Did the people causing the ruckus get in trouble? No. The cook that came down to help his coworkers, his friends, got fired because other people said that he had a knife even though he didn't. Now you want me, you, my boss that owns multiple bars throughout New York City, that owns multiple buildings throughout New York City, that does not worry about living here in New York, that does not worry a fucking day about paying their bills, about where their next meal comes. You don't worry about a goddamn thing. You want me to ask somebody that wonders where his next paycheck, or if his next paycheck is going to be enough to pay for his next meal, his next rent bill, all of that shit. You want me to put him in danger so that you save 2 hours of fucking pay to pay a bouncer. That's what you want me to do. That's what you want our staff to do. To not look out for each other and our well-being, to only look out for yours. That's what you want. You hear me? I'm pissed. And if you see me, you see it in my eyes. I'm fucking pissed. It's a microcosm of what happens in this world. The fucking people with the money want the people without it to sacrifice more than they ever have to. Just for what? So that they can have fucking percent more in their life. I'm losing too much money paying a bouncer for 2 hours. So you know what? You put your life in danger. You call the person that may get kicked out of this country for giving a fuck about your safety. You put him in the line of danger. Because I don't want to pay for 2 hours. Because I want to save some money there. That's where I was working. Because let's get to Saturday. Because I am pleased to say that Saturday was my last fucking shift at the Horny Ram. And now I don't give a fuck about saying that bar's name out loud. It was my last shift at the Horny Ram. See, I went into work on Saturday not knowing if it was going to be my last shift. And after my manager had that text conversation where she laid out that I don't have a bouncer, that I have an ID checker, and that if anything ever happens again, to deal with it yourself and call the cops. After we had that conversation, she kind of avoided me at work. Not a lot of banter going on between the two of us. Now, I never came in fucking drilling or staring laser daggers through her when I walked in. I just came in, did my job, was quiet with her, whatever. And she was quiet with me. She didn't really have much to say. And I part of me feels like it's because she's not a shitty person and realizes that she had to say shitty things to me. Her job is essentially regurgitating what our piece of shit boss wants us to hear. That's her job. I get it. Not mad at her at all. At all, guys. At all. But I also just didn't really want to talk to her. So we kind of avoid each other. The only thing that she did tell me last week was that something happened at work where someone called back and said they didn't tip this amount. They found out that it was right. It was done under my name. Even though it was a brunch meal and I never took a fucking single order, it was done under my name and I owed $80. Or technically the two bartenders that were working at the time that the check was closed out owe $80 total, so I owed at least $40. So the one thing that my manager told me after telling me the whole bouncer bullshit is, oh, and by the way, now you owe us $40. I was like, all right. I've been so down in the dumps that I completely forgot about that shit. I walk into work on Saturday not knowing what I'm going to do about working there at the Horny Ram. And the only thing that she tells me, the only thing that she communicates to me is a reminder. Hey, well, by the way, you still owe the $40. So before you leave today, just be sure to leave it in an envelope for us downstairs. And I said, okay, cool. Will do. All right. Good night. Good night. And I then texted my girl. I was like, I just was reminded about that $40 that I owe. And she was like, man, I feel like they're doing everything in their power to decide for you what to do. And it was in that moment that I knew what I was going to do. Because, see, I had already trained on Tuesday and on Wednesday at Old City Beers and Cheesesteaks. And I knew that, see, they were working around my schedule. They knew that I had work the rest of the week. And they're like, that's cool with us. Come back next Tuesday and next Wednesday to finish your training. And I said, cool, no problem. I only knew that I had one day more of training at the Comedy Cellar on Monday. But I didn't know if they wanted me back after that. And here I am working my current, for sure job. And I decided right then and there, I'm never coming back. I'm closing this bar tonight. I'm going to give them the $40. And I'm going to hang up my keys in the office. And I'm never coming back. A funny thing happened during that shift. My coworker, who you guys have come to know and love as Scarlett, excuse me, she texted me that Saturday and was something like, dude, what the fuck? Something mad random just happened. And I said, what? And about an hour or two after my manager left work, about an hour or two after she told me, don't forget the $40 and leaves, she texts Scarlett to tell her that she just came across my YouTube page. Huh? Yeah, my manager texted someone else to tell them that she found my YouTube page. And honestly, I told Scarlett, good. I hope she sees that the very fucking last episode that was posted just a couple of days ago is called Bartending with Depression and Anxiety. And if she chose to listen to that, any part of that episode at all, she might catch the part where I talk about why I'm bartending with depression and anxiety. Because I have nothing to hide. I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I'm telling the world what's going on, and all I hear back from people is, that's fucked up. Because it is, dude. So I'm glad she found my YouTube page. I've been working hard at it. My reach is getting places. I hope she sees that I have more followers on my Instagram than the fucking bar does. Because they never posted a viral cat video. I used fake names and I didn't tell anyone at work, but I don't really care if you come across it because I'm not lying. I'd be really stupid if I started putting out a weekly recorded fucking testimony of my life so that anyone can see while I talked about shit that happened publicly with other people around me. I'd be really stupid to do that and lie about what the fuck is happening. That would be really dumb. Because anyone can listen to it and be like, that didn't happen. But you know what's not going to happen? No one's going to tell me that because everything I've said has happened. I get that text on Saturday and I thought that shit was hilarious. I told one person that I worked with that night that it was my last night, and it wasn't until she was clocked out and leaving. And I texted Scarlett and let her know that I've decided today's my last night, and she was sad about it. She was pissed on Thursday when we worked together and she saw that I even had the interview. She was pissed. Also, like me, very bad at hiding her emotions. So she did not hide from me that she was pissed at all. She was pissed. She was pissed. But Saturday she wasn't. She was sad, but she was happy for me. And Saturday I it's funny, I didn't drink with I drank with two people that were not regulars at all for my last drink there. I had a shot with my bar back, the roadie for Los Tigres del Norte. He put the accordions down and we had our first shot together. And our last, I guess. Maybe not our last. I'll come back just for him. I'll meet him at the diner next door for a shot. Then I went to Cornerstone for some more drinks with some regs. That was fun. Because I knew I had no work on Sunday. I not because I was going to quit. I legitimately had no work on Sunday. Came home Sunday. Woke up at, I think, 11, 12 in the afternoon. And promptly sent my manager a I quit text. No 2 weeks. Nope. I felt a little bad about not giving the 2 weeks, but when you start just going over all the negative memories and all the things that have made you feel worse than you felt in so long, and all the people that have told me that I do not deserve to feel this way, they're right, dude. And you know what? The horny ram will continue to live, will continue to survive. I was nothing more than a spoke in the wheel that really did not matter much. I'm sure that someone had to scramble a little bit to get some shifts covered. But life goes on, right? I legitimately sent them a text. Sent my manager a text where I said, I wish you the best in your future endeavors. I was professional about it, but I just said, unfortunately, I regret to inform you that last night was my final shift at the Horny Ram. I left my keys in the office, sent him a picture of it, and said, I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors. I got a text back saying, you too, Will. I felt that it, she was definitely pissed, and my boss, he was definitely pissed too. He didn't like me. He was definitely pissed. But I never heard about it. Because who gives a fuck? Sunday morning, I quit my job. And then me and my girl meet up with one of my best friends in the entire universe, Keith, and his wife, Tiff. And we go to see Kevin Hart in concert or do his stand-up at Forest Hill Stadium. That's how I spent my Sunday. I had nothing but fun on Sunday. I have not laughed that much in so long. And again, it was not lost to me that I was catching stand-up comedy a month after I said that I wanted to try stand-up comedy, and 2 days after working at the Comedy Cellar. Like I said, I do not believe in a lot, but this is a lot of shit that's kind of going, I don't know, it's a lot of signs pointing a certain way. That, I mean, it's something, right? It's something. It's something. See, my plan was Sunday I quit my job. Monday I go to train again at the Comedy Cellar, and if all goes to hell and they don't want me, I still have Tuesday and Wednesday right back at Old City Beers and Cheese Sticks. I had a backup. See? I had a plan. I wasn't just reacting emotionally. There was a plan. Real G's move in silence like lasagna. And the Horny Ram found that out the hard way. You fucked with the wrong guy, man. But here's the thing. I left that place. I didn't go crazy that final night. You know, I didn't. Whoop, my phone is losing power. Let me connect this real quick. But yeah. Very professional as I come off here off camera and off mic. Fucking bear with me, whatever. Just plug that shit right in. Dude, I'm quitting the Horny Ram. I didn't have to pay them that $40, but I didn't want them to be able to say, yeah, and he fucking stole money from us. I didn't want them to be able to say that on my way out. You could be pissed at me for not giving you your 2-week notice, but I paid you the money I owed you. I paid my millionaire boss the $40 that I allegedly owed him on my way out. That was the last thing I did at work there, was pay money. Me. struggling to pay rent, paid my millionaire boss $40 as my last act as his employee. You can say whatever you want about me, but I know that I left that place. You know what? I ain't mad at myself at all for how I left you guys. Because anytime I tried to feel bad about it, I just remembered how little of a fuck you guys gave about me. And you know what? When I say you guys, it's one person. It's the owner. It's the boss. That's it. How little that man cared about me. And so fuck it, man. Deal with it. Here's your $40. You obviously really need it. Good luck with the rest. As the WWE would say, good luck in your future endeavors. I future endeavored you. Sunday, I spent the day at the bar that it all started at for me. I went to the Forest Hill Station House where I was welcomed with open arms from pretty much the entire staff, everyone except the new kids that I've never met before. Nothing but smiles and hugs and just... Because you know what? Because that's a good bar. That's run by good people. Steve Elkins is a great boss. Glenn is a great manager. Emily and Josh are great bartenders. It's a great place with great... I'm talking about some of the greatest cocktails you'll ever have in your life, dude. It's a great bar. I learned what I do in life there. Then they moved me to the Historian, where I learned even more. And I come back there and I feel good because I'm hugging everybody. I'm laughing with everybody. It was good. It was nice to literally moments after I quit a place that I felt was toxic to go to the place that started it all for me and be reminded why I made the right decision. Because it was an example in front of my face. This is what it's supposed to be. So do not feel bad at all for leaving what you just did. So I had some drinks with my girl at Forest Hill Station House, one of the greatest bars in the freaking state. And started getting drunk for Kevin Hart. And me and Keith and Valentif had just such a good day, man. And for everyone that heard how down I was last episode, if you could just hear the way that I was laughing on Sunday, it felt like for at least that show, I had no worries. Even though technically I had no job. And I had no idea what my paycheck was going to look like a week from then. I didn't give a fuck. I was having a good time watching some comedians. Then Monday comes, and I have another shift at the Comedy Cellar. Another shift where I'm told very little about my future, whether they like me, whether they want me, or what. I work Monday for 10 hours. I get trained by someone else that's super popular, or not popular, super just nice and professional. He is popular amongst his coworkers. And the only thing that they tell me at the end of the 10-hour shift at 2:30 in the morning is, when else can you come in? And I said, tomorrow if you want. Great, come in tomorrow. So I come in Tuesday. Another 10 hours. 3 shows. And I don't know if I have a friggin' job or not, dude. But here's the thing I did do on Tuesday, because I knew I was coming into the Comedy Cellar. I emailed Old City Beers and Cheesesteaks, and I told them. And unfortunately, I won't be attending the training session because I was offered another gig that I can't pass up. But that I appreciate the opportunity and the professionalism that I was shown there. And that it's obvious why the brand is doing so well that they're about to open a 3rd location. And that I truly wish them nothing but the best in the future, in their future endeavors. I future endeavored them too before I even got hired there. And the GM replied that she understood and wished me nothing but the best. And if anything were to happen with my new job and I wanted to rejoin the staff of Old City Beers and Cheesesteaks, to not even bother applying, to just contact her directly. And then she reminded me that she still needed some information so that she can pay me properly for the 2 days that I did train. That's professionalism. That's class, man. So I told you, it was a good place that was run by good people. I just felt like it was a lateral move. So let's recap real quick. I quit my job on Sunday. And on Tuesday, I tell the place I'm about to train with that I've already had 2 training shifts with, thanks but no thanks. So all my eggs are in one basket right now, and it's the Comedy Cellar basket. But the juice is worth the squeeze, my friends. So I go in Tuesday for another 10-hour shift. And man, I'm kind of starstruck, in awe of what's going on. I mean, dude, at one point there was Stella's in our fridge, and I was like, oh, I didn't know we sell Stella. And someone was like, oh, we don't. Those are left over from Dave likes Stella. And I'm like, oh, who's Dave? And I'm thinking she's going to tell me a manager or something. She's like, oh, Dave Chappelle likes drinking Stella, so we just keep some around for him. I was like, oh, okay. And then, I remember on I think it was Monday, someone walks in with 3 boxes of Entenmann's, cookies and donuts, and was like, oh, Dave brought goodies for us again. And I don't want to assume that Dave Chappelle fucking brings Entenmann's cakes and donuts and cookies for us. So I don't go there. I'm like, it has to be Dave, some manager I haven't met yet. And I'm like, who's Dave? And they're like, oh, David Tell. He's closing tonight. He likes to bring us stuff whenever he closes. As a huge comedy fan, I think he's a New York comedy legend and a comedy legend in general, but definitely a New York one. Insomniac back in the day on Comedy Central. I found myself eating a cookie. Let me rephrase that. At one point, I found myself watching David tell comedy, or do comedy, just a couple of feet away, while eating a cookie that he bought for us, for me. What the hell is my life now? In the 3 shifts that I've worked there, these are the comedians that just came in to do 15 minutes, no big deal. I'm talking about people like Hassan Minaj, Shane Gillis, Ari Shaffir, Dave Attell, who likes to bring us goodies, Colin Quinn, Jim Norton, Fortune Feimster, Jessica Kirsten. These are, you might not recognize all those names, but they're the type of people that if I Google, you'll be like, oh, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Pretty sure most of y'all know who Hassan Minaj is. If you're a New Yorker and you don't know who Colin Quinn is, Shane Gillis has the number 1 Patreon site in the world right now. I'm humble that I'm I'm in this arena. I'm next to them. I'm next to people that I consider greatness. And at the end of that Tuesday shift, again, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And the manager at the end of the night's like, so you have your schedule? I'm like, I know, I saw something for next week, but they look like more training shifts, the same that I had this week. So I don't know. And I have nothing for this week. And she says, for her, it was a sentence that she was just throwing away. But for me, felt like a sentence that was changing my life. She goes, well, I'm sure you'd want to get all the training out of the way to get started as fast as possible. And I realized this job was mine to lose the whole time You didn't lose it. It's just finish training. The hard part is over because all I have to train for now is working at the cafe upstairs, and the job is yours, Will. I wanted to change my life. I wanted to get the hell out of a bad situation. And a month ago, I thought that meant just simply voicing things that I want out loud, to put them into the universe. And I said, I want to try my hand at stand-up comedy. And guys, I said that a month ago. And here I am, 1 month later, telling you that your boy, Will Bryant, is the newest bartender at one of the most famous comedy venues in the entire world. I'm your host. I'm Will Bryant. And I'm a bartender at the Comedy Cellar. Wednesday, yesterday, dude, I've just been through so much, positive and negative, that I know I wanted to record Wednesday and get this out right on schedule, but dude, I couldn't help it. I was tired and fatigued physically because I had just worked 32 hours of training for the Comedy Cellar in 4 days and drank a shit ton on Sunday in between. I was tired, but I was also not just physically tired, like mentally tired. Felt like I went through a lot. I was making a lot of life-changing decisions that I really had no certainty on, and I need Wednesday to just fucking do nothing. I mean nothing. Do you guys realize I worked in 3 different places in 1 week and quit one job, turned down one opportunity in hopes of getting the most uncertain option of the 3? That's a lot to go through mentally in 1 week, physically in 1 week. Here I am, 1 week later, recording this podcast, telling you guys how I quit my job and how I got a new one. I got nothing else for today, guys. I'm going back to work today. Going back to the cellar. And tune in, guys, because suddenly I think my stories might get a little bit more interesting. Your boy's working at the Comedy Cellar. To everyone that gave me any words of encouragement, of positivity, to all those people that reached out, I swear to you, it meant so much. I fucking love you guys for it. In some of the most uncertain times that I've had in my professional career, I had a lot of support, man. A lot of humbling support. It felt so good. I told you guys that I was going through some shit, but I was just trying to deal with it in a more positive way. And goddamn, could it be any more positive than this? I quit the job that was tearing me apart and just got a dream job somewhere else that I'm actually fucking proud of. Don't settle, guys. Don't settle. That's it, guys. That's it. Thank you guys for listening. Be sure to like, review, subscribe to this podcast. Follow me on all platforms at I'm Will Bryant. That's 3 words, at I'm Will Bryant, Bryant, like Kobe. I'm your host. I'm Will Bryant. And I'm a bartender at the Comedy Cellar. Until next time.